quick look at this then. So I think we'll look at posture.
Yeah.
We'll look at posture. It's always difficult to see with posture whether it's just somebody's posture in terms of the way that there'll be curvature of the spine, or whether it's like a golf specific thing. Backswing, not bad. I mean, you know, again, where we're at with the backswing is there's a little bit of deviation forward.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's problematic due to the posture, or whether we need to work on the rotation.
Yeah.
But the problem that you've got is the right hip is blockading all pathway. So the interesting thing is that you kind of said that you've been sort of loosely working on playing.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know, when you look at this, how much deviation there is forward, but, you know, that would represent your handicap, you know, in terms of a good handicap golfer, because even though you've drifted so far forward, you still find a way back to playing.
Yeah.
Which generally what I suppose I'm saying to people that will watch this video is, if you can find playing in many different ways.
Yeah.
Now, what we're suggesting where you are is it's not idyllic, so it's not that athletic in terms of its repeatability of movement. But if you're on plane, even if it's on quite a vertical plane like you are, you've still always got a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Change the tact a little bit, and I think you know, what I would try and do is okay, you know, instead of it really downward, it'll, for you, if you're going to let this straighten, it will feel like it comes up more. But what I quite like about the split handle exercise is it will help you with an element of kind of thoracic extension, so it will help you feel like you're opening up the chest, as opposed to, I think, some of the previous swing looks a little kind of enclosed and a little this way and short. It's kind of like trying to open up that chest a little bit more. So maybe we detract from what's happening lower. We might change again, but you know, it's more about up and open chested, and that's what I'm trying to say. Instead of being this way, you'll feel more this way, but the reality is, as long as this is on the line, then it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? I mean, that's why we see such variances on tour between golfers that would straighten the leg and some that would retain a whole amount of flexion. But there's difference between that and then deviating forward, which we don't want, and that's where you are. So what I'm trying to say is, fundamentally, whether you let this straighten or not, the objective is to get the hip back out of the way. Do you know what I mean? So I think what I'm also trying to say is that the first lesson is always the hardest, and let's not beat around the bush. It's really hard to change. You know, it's really hard to change, and that's why I'm trying to be very, very transparent, is that it's hard to change. So the first lesson is just make a change. Right, so a couple of the lessons that we've done have been controversial in terms of people have had their own opinions on it, which is great, but they've changed. Do you know what I mean? So even if you don't choose the right thing, just get into the habit of changing. You don't want to like break. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if we kind of decide that you end up working on this and we go, actually, I want to keep it flexed. It's like, just become susceptible to changing is the first aim of this. So I think the feeling is quite similar to Alex's lesson, is to try and get the feeling that you're using your right arm to retract the shoulder, to pull the left arm up, retract your right shoulder back and behind you, feel like you're opening the chest up a little bit more, and feel like you're much more higher in terms of elevated position. This, I think, will lift you up anyway, and then if worse comes to worse, we'll just get an element of feeling like you're shifting into the heel more, and at least we've got a pathway then for you to exactly. So if I kind of go through your left heel and toe, so it's quite exaggerated. So stay there. Up. Yeah, see what I mean? See, it's more up. Yeah. Ready? Yes. Yeah? Yeah. And again. Just tuck your pelvis under again, or tuck it up. Other way. Belt up. Yeah. Just slowly kind of swing back and get that up. You got to go more. You're still falling forward. Yes. Okay, so nice and slow, do that, and then hit. Yeah, it's better. Yeah. You know, the idea is things that I'll talk about on the channel is that your pelvis should stay downward facing because it increases pressure. But to what level? Do you know what I mean? Like, if somebody like yourself, if it kind of runs into this story where you're even kind of sticking your bum out to get your pelvis downward facing, so you're in a large state of anterior tilt, which kind of means downward facing in posture, and then you're almost kind of really trying to push the pelvis into the leg, you will feel a load. But the problem is you won't really be able to kind of turn, you know, you'll get stuck, and then you'll end up kind of chasing the leg this way. So that's why, again, on the channel I try and do these sort of liberatingly moves which are, you know, detract too much from one thought, because obviously it's just gone to town too much.
Yeah.
So to you it feels more reverse pivoty. What we can see up on the video is that you're able to stay in posture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And even though you feel like you're standing up more and your legs straight, actually when you look at it, you've still got flexion and you're in posture. To clarify, the where you can be is that if you draw a line vertically through your ankle line and you use an object, as long as the hip joint never surpasses that, then you're fine. So what you'll find is that although you feel like you're going more this way and more up and horizontal with the pelvis, your hip joint's still miles behind the line. So as long as an individual doesn't go this way, then that would be problematic. And the split handle exercise gives you thoracic extension, which helps you lift your arm up in the air basically and give you leverage. So that was the other reason why the swing looked a little short.
Yeah.
So it kind of looked a little bit short, shaft looked a little bit vertical and drifting forward, and you were doing brilliantly to hit it. Like in a, you know, so you'll progress massively as time goes on, and I'm guessing the driver and things and the longer levers are going to be the ones that will reap the most rewards.
Yeah.
So what you work on and practice is to just try and ingrain that sort of feeling where split handle, and you know, to you it will feel much more up.